Repeated requests for a follow-up to the June 9, 2016 meeting in Trump Tower. Following the election, Aras Agalarov's interest in influencing U.S. policy continued. In mid-late November 2016, following the election, Aras Agalarov and Veselnitskaya made an attempt to get a second meeting with Trump representatives. This request was transmitted through Kavaladze and Goldstone. On November 23rd, Veselnitskaya sent Kavaladze an email with the subject line, quote, "from RF," close quote, which likely refers to, quote, "Russian Federation," close quote. The document attached to the email was marked, quote, "confidential November 22, 2016," close quote, and deals with the Magnitsky Act, William Browder, and the Ziff brothers. The fourth page of the document, which is otherwise blank, simply states, quote, "NV iPad," close quote. The document attached to the email is similar to, but not the exact same as, the May 31, 2016 document believed to have been used at the June 9, 2016 meeting in Trump Tower. The document sent by Veselnitskaya to Kavaladze on November 23 was emailed to Goldstone the same day. It reads, quote, "Hello, Rob. Enclosed, please find synopsis of the topic Ms. Natalia wants to discuss with T people. She has arrived into NYC. Thanks, Ike." End of note. The initial email from Kavaladze to Goldstone on November 23 resulted in a series of emails and text messages in which Kavaladze sought to get the meeting scheduled while Veselnitskaya was in New York. Goldstone made the request for the meeting, but was generally skeptical that it would be accepted. Kavaladze told the committee, quote, "I spoke with Ms. Veselnitskaya sometime in November of 2016 when she was trying to initiate a second meeting with Trump people. I basically requested a synopsis of that second meeting, and she sent me pretty much the same thing she sent the first time. She basically was referring to that statement of Mr. Trump Jr. saying that, if we win, then we'll be glad to discuss. So pretty much immediately, like 2 weeks after the win, she started to try. We politely, Rob Goldstone, told me that it's absolutely unrealistic to arrange a meeting now. People are unpacking. People are leaving for Washington, D.C. It was pre-Thanksgiving, and in every possible way, they're not interested in this topic right now. Obviously, so there's no way. So we politely kind of gradually tried to explain to her that the meeting is not going to happen because she's like, I'm here, but then I have to go to Moscow, and then I'm willing to come back. If they confirm a meeting, I would definitely come back, and stuff like that. So eventually I'm telling her, Veselnitskaya, that the meeting is not going to happen, close quote. While this account is generally supported by documents provided to the committee, it does not fully capture the extent to which Aras Agalarov and Veselnitskaya pushed for the meeting. On November 23, 2016, Kavaladze, having already been met with skepticism from Goldstone about a second meeting, indicated to Goldstone that Veselnitskaya was willing to change her flight if needed. Several days later, on November 27th, Kavaladze followed up with Goldstone, apologizing for bothering him on a Sunday, and said that Veselnitskaya, quote, called again, asking about the meeting with the Trump people, close quote. Goldstone replied that he had reached out, but there had been no response so far, and reiterated his skepticism that the meeting request would be accepted. The following day, November 28th, Kavaladze again followed up with Goldstone, writing, quote, Hello, Rob. Any news regarding the meeting? Mr. A. Agalarov just called me, re this, close quote. On November 28th, having not received a response regarding scheduling the second meeting, Goldstone sent Veselnitskaya's document directly to Rona Graf. The transmittal note reads, From Rob Goldstone, sent Monday, November 28, 2016, 11:49 a.m., to Rona Graf, subject for Mr. Trump. Hi, Rona. Aras Agalarov has asked me to pass on this document, and the hope can be passed on to the appropriate team. If needed, a lawyer representing the case is in New York currently and happy to meet with any member of his transition team. Best, Rob. Close note. Goldstone confirmed that the request to send the document came from Aras Agalarov. Goldstone believed that the request was important to the Agalarovs because, quote, they'd asked again, and I didn't know why it was important to them, but I knew it must be important to them or they wouldn't have made the ask, close quote. Goldstone told the committee that, to the best of his knowledge, neither Aras nor Emin Agalarov had any particular interest in adoption issues. Later that day, Graf forwarded the email and the attached document to Steve Bannon. She wrote, "Hi, Steve. The PE knows Aras well. Rob is his rep in the U.S. and sent this on. Not sure how to proceed, if at all. R." End note. Bannon said that he did not remember receiving this email and also did not remember reading the Veselnitskaya document that was attached. In turn, Bannon did not remember what, if anything, he did with the document. On November 28, Kavaladze, who was in Moscow and had not received a response from Graf regarding the requested meeting, recommended to Veselnitskaya that she return to Moscow. Separately, at least one message following the election appeared to deal with overlapping business interests between the Agalarovs and the Trump Organization. On December 13, 2016, Emin Agalarov sent Trump Jr. a text message about partnering with, quote, the Trump furniture producers from Turkey, close quote. Quote, "Hi, Don. Hope all is well. Quick question for you. I've been in discussion, with Trump furniture producers from Turkey to open a store and a distribution channel, in Moscow. Just wanted to check with you if you are okay with us partnering up with them and launching the project. Wanted to check with you before committing. Thank you. Emin, Moscow, close quote. Trump Jr. did not recall what this message referred to, but that to his knowledge, the Trump Organization did not have additional business with the Agalarovs beyond what has been covered. Following the election, Aras Agalarov showed signs of continued interest in demonstrating his relationship with Trump. On February 15, 2017, Goldstone emailed Graf requesting that she help Goldstone find a copy of Aras Agalarov's previous correspondence with Trump. Goldstone explained that Aras Agalarov asked Goldstone to find a note from Trump the prior year, but Goldstone could not locate it. It is not clear if a copy of the letter was ever located. Additional communications following the June 9, 2016 meeting in Trump Tower. In mid-2017, shortly prior to and following initial public reporting on the June 9, 2016 meeting, there were a number of communications between participants, and in some cases their associates, regarding the meeting. Lawyers for the Trump Organization, Trump Jr., and others also contacted a number of the meeting participants. In most cases, these communications did not meaningfully contribute to the committee's understanding of the meeting, and many are not itemized in this report. On July 14, 2017, Jason Tropia sent Roman Benyaminov a screenshot of a conversation that Tropia had with Rob Goldstone, quote, 2 weeks, close quote, earlier. In that conversation, Goldstone stated regarding the June 9, 2016 meeting, quote, "It's being made public apparently next week, so will be lovely for us also. They want to know why Aras asked for it, and who was it a favor for. That will be lovely," close quote. Tropia responded, quote, "We can consider that relationship done," close quote. Goldstone then replied, quote, "I would think so. I begged him not to do the meeting at the time, and Emin also. Said it was a huge favor that wasn't worth it. But maybe it was worth it for Aras. We don't know who asked the favor. Could have been the big man, big in uppercase," close quote. Additionally, some witnesses suggested that they felt that others were not giving accurate public statements about the meeting, or felt that they were being pressured to shape their comments in exchange for financial support with legal fees. Anatoly Samochornov has stated that he was contacted by Robert Arkelian, the president of HRAGI, offering to cover his legal expenses if he was willing to confine his comments regarding the June 9th meeting to public statements already made by Veselnitskaya. Samochornov said he did not believe that Arkelian knew what he was doing, but was, quote, shocked, close quote, that Arakelian would propose this over the phone and declined to take money from HRAGI because Samochornov did not want to be, quote, beholden to them, close quote. Samochornov said that he would not perjure himself just because HRAGI was a good client, would represent himself, and would be transparent. Kavaladze has said that he believed that Trump Jr.'s public statements regarding the June 9, 2016 meeting in Trump Tower were not accurate. In particular, Kavaladze felt that the statement the meeting focused on adoptions was not correct, and that the meeting had been primarily about the Magnitsky Act, with only a few sentences in which adoptions were mentioned. Additionally, Kavaladze felt that Trump Jr. had represented the meeting as being shorter than it was, and that it was 30 to 40 minutes rather than 20 minutes. The committee notes several arrangements related to participants or associates of the participants. Emin Agalarov, Irakli Kavaladze, and Jason Tropia all shared the same legal representation, Scott Balber. Tropia acknowledged that Emin Agalarov was covering his legal fees. Balber had represented Donald Trump in at least one matter in 2013. Information obtained by the committee also indicates an effort by Agalarov to pay for Goldstone's legal representation. On July 13, 2017, Benyaminov sent Tropia a text message writing, quote, "When you get a chance, need to find out the balance on Emin's funds here. Ike called me, said he spoke with Emin, and that he wants us to pay for Rob's attorney," close quote. Tropia told the committee, quote, "I don't know if I physically made the check out or if it was paid in another manner, but I do recall talking about this," close quote. Benyaminov said that he did not know whether Goldstone's legal fees were ultimately covered by Emin Agalarov, but stated that his own were not. Additionally, some of the participants have had continuing relationships following the June 9, 2016 meeting. For example, Kavaladze and Veselnitskaya remained in contact, and Kavaladze facilitated at least 2 additional meetings between Veselnitskaya and Aras Agalarov. The first of those meetings likely took place on December 3, 2016, and the second was likely in late January 2017. Text messages between Veselnitskaya and Kavaladze do not provide meaningful additional information regarding these meetings with Agalarov. Kavaladze also facilitated an introduction between Veselnitskaya and the Agalarov's lawyer, Scott Balber. Balber met with Veselnitskaya at least twice in early 2017. In text messages with Kavaladze, Veselnitskaya rejected a proposed cafe for a meeting with Balber because there were, quote, too many ears, close quote, and advocated for a more private location. Veselnitskaya indicated that she regretted not meeting with Balber earlier because she would have hired, quote, them, close quote, referring to Balber and his team, to work on her case. But she noted that this would have prevented Balber and his team from working on the, quote, government task, close quote, or, quote, state assignment, close quote. Additionally, Veselnitskaya expressed a desire to coordinate her briefings to the Russian Prosecutor General's office with Balber's strategy. She noted that she had previously attempted to do what Balber was doing, but had not had sufficient resources. The text messages between Veselnitskaya and Kavaladze do not offer additional information regarding the nature of Balber's work or his interactions with Veselnitskaya. On January 20, 2017, Renat Akhmetshin and Veselnitskaya attended an inauguration party in Washington, D.C., hosted by Dana Rohrabacher. Kavaladze told the committee that he met with Veselnitskaya, Akhmetshin, and Samochornov at a dinner in New York for Veselnitskaya's birthday, likely in February of 2017. At the dinner, the Magnitsky Act was discussed, and the others updated Kavaladze on their work. Samochornov said that he has met Akhmetshin 5 or 6 times since the June 9, 2016 meeting. Samochornov also visited Veselnitskaya in Russia in April 2017, related to their work on the Prevozhin case. Akhmetshin told the committee that he met with Kavaladze in Moscow in June 2017, where they discussed the June 9, 2016 meeting, which had not yet been made public, and Akhmetshin unsuccessfully suggested that, quote, we should tell the story on our terms, close quote, and that they should find friendly news outlets through which to tell the story. Ahmedcan told the committee that when he suggested publicly acknowledging the June 9, 2016 meeting to Kavaladze, Kavaladze said, quote, "Look, it's not my decision," close quote, and that, quote, "I'm just an employee," close quote. Goldstone spoke with Emin Agalarov, Kavaladze, Trump Organization counsel Alan Garten, and counsel for Trump Jr. Alan Fuertelas regarding the June 9, 2016 meeting. Kavaladze testified that Fuertelas reached out to him in June 2017 to, quote, "collect information," close quote, about the meeting and to, quote, "know what Kavaladze's recollection was," close quote. Outreach to Goldstone from Garten happened as early as June 2, 2017. On July 9, 2017, Garten and Fuertelas copied Kavaladze on emails with Goldstone to coordinate and draft a public statement related to what happened at the June 9, 2016 meeting. On July 23, 2017, incoming White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci wrote to Goldstone saying that Scaramucci officially started in August, but that his door was open and that, quote, "Obviously there is still pressure on all sides, but if we remain consistent and united, I don't envisage any issues we can't ride out," close quote. The committee did not find specific evidence that the relationships and communications outlined above resulted in inaccurate or incomplete testimony, but the committee's insight on this topic is limited.